the Edmonton Oilers against the Winnipeg Jets. Battle of the Prairies. Who you got, Jimbo?
Yeah, this one's actually a really interesting one because here you have two teams with, not the best defensive core. So at least they're very similarly matched up, actually. Obviously they have hot players on the offense and on the defense, a little unknown. And then one of the biggest, obviously, differences is the goaltending. Now, typically one would say, Jets have a lot stronger advantage in this case, but Hellebuck hasn't. I'm not done. Hellebuck hasn't been great against the Oilers this year, and Smith has been really good. It's still this he has been really good this season, which is very unexpected, and there's still a lot of question marks going to the playoffs. But if he can continue his form, he is going to give Jets a hard time, and the Jets just. If you had asked me a month ago, I would have 100% said that Jets were a better team than Toronto Maple Leafs. If there's one team in the Canadian division that's more likely to win the Stanley Cup, I would say Jets over Leafs. But the last month has been very brutal for the Jets, and I know they've been dealing with some injuries. They just haven't been good though, and I honestly as much as I think Edmonton doesn't have the depth to go all the way. I think just McDavid and Draisaitl will completely overpower this team because they're just going in on a low. And I think McDavid, it'll just be a McDavid smoke show. He's just been kind of unstoppable, especially against the Jets this year. So I'm going to say Edmonton I'll get Edmonton in 6. But I'll say that the games Edmonton wins are going to be pretty blowout.
Wow. Okay. Jage.
I have really been struggling with this one for a long time because I just think the Jets are so good at what they do, but just recently they haven't been themselves. Everything's been out of place. But I think the biggest factor in this series is what Mike Smith are we getting? Are we
100%.
getting the Calgary Flames playoff series where Mike Smith was standing on his head against Colorado and the only guy playing? Or are we getting Mike Smith that we see almost every regular season where he just falls apart at some point? Or even Edmonton's last playoff against Chicago? Depending on Mike Smith, I think that will determine the series. But it's going to be so hard to say. I'm going to go with Winnipeg still. I just think Chicago shut down Draisaitl and McDavid. I believe if they could do it while all the games are at Edmonton, then Winnipeg can do it when only half the games are in Edmonton. So I'm going to say Winnipeg in 7.
Wow.
Going against my guy, it hurts, but...
Oof. You heard it here
Let it
first.
be known,
Wow.
when Mike Smith needed JJ Mouse, he wasn't there.
No, I'll still watch on and cheer him on, but not the team that's playing in front of him.
Jade, your girlfriend's family have much influence on that pick.
All the influence. They're actually just standing an inch to the left with a gun, so I had to predict Winnipeg.
Oh my
Connor, who you got for this one?
God. Man, I mean, you look at the two teams going in, right? You got Edmonton, you got Winnipeg. They didn't finish too far off. Well, I say that Edmonton had 11 more points than the Jets. The Jets are getting Ehlers back, and Edmonton has a few injuries. But Connor McDavid in the playoffs, with Draisaitl in the playoffs, it's a deadly combo. We saw it a couple of years ago. They are really good in the playoffs. Like, absolutely dominant in the playoffs. And honestly, with the way Mike Smith's been playing this year, and how Mike Smith plays in the playoffs, right? Playoff Mike Smith is consistently great. I don't think Winnipeg can win a single game.
Wow, really?
I'm going Edmonton sweep. And I'm a Flames fan, and that kills me to say it. But this team is too powerful. If they have amazing goaltending, and McDavid's hot, which he's been absolutely rolling going into the playoffs, Winnipeg doesn't have a chance. Like, they're going to get steamrolled. It's not even going to be close.
Hearing all these positive comments about Mike Smith is finally making me happy.
Man, he wasn't an issue.
I'm not putting any faith into Mike Smith. I'm solely putting faith into the forward cores of the Edmonton Oilers. When I look at these two teams, I think there's a big cultural difference, and that's what's going to decide the winner. You know, you look at the Winnipeg Jets, they backtalk their coach in the media. You know, you got Scheifele and Wheeler coming out going, all I care about is winning. I will do anything to win, and whoever's not on board can get off. And then they, you know, don't back check, and they just go off on early shifts. And you look at the Oilers, and they don't say anything in the media. They're very quiet. They just come and they perform. Like, you can tell this team, when they watch Connor McDavid play, they're like, wow, this is another type of athlete, and we need to perform for him. You know, I think Everton and Edmonton's bought into a Tippett system, and they bought into McDavid. And they've had some really lucky bounce back from guys like Pugliarvi's becoming an elite forechecker, which every good playoff team needs. And just like how Colorado had Cale Makar come in after college to be a great playoff performer, I think Edmonton's going to get that in Dylan Holloway. He's going to come in, he's going to be amazing for them. So I have Edmonton winning in 5. I think Hellebuck's going to steal a game, but I just don't see, you know, Winnipeg matching up in any regard to Edmonton.
Austin, you really are the kryptonite to Jets fans, man. You're going to hear about that.
I know.
Some of them comments are pretty, yikes.
This nice
At this
fan
point,
base.
I just got to rock the heel.
Nice team, nice fan base. Austin just hates them.
Yeah, it's a great team, great fan base, great bunch of guys.
I mean, I got nothing against them, but I mean, you saw how much they struggled against the Flames last year. Do you really think they could go up against a team like
Tkachuk
Edmonton?
took out freaking Scheifele, didn't he? Like,
Murdered and assassinated Scheifele in the middle of the ice.
The Jets, to me, have been playing like they want their coach fired, and I think the playoffs are going to be the nail in that coffin. I think they're going to lose to Edmonton, and Paul Maurice is going to be gone. Justified or not, I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely not justified.
But, you know, just seeing the comments they make, the back talk they give to their coach in this time of the season when you're trying to be ramping up for the playoffs, I was actually, like, almost insulted about what Scheifele said about
what did
Paul
they say?
Maurice. So, there was, you know, the play where Scheifele changed instead of back checking, and he got benched for the third.
Right, I heard
He
about
just
the
came
benching,
out and
yeah.
he was like, I don't agree with the benching. The team's better when I'm on the ice. I wouldn't have done that. That wasn't the right decision to make. And I'm like, that's not what you say in that situation. I think you just got to take it and learn from the situation. And it's just things like that I'm just like, wow, you don't say that to Paul Maurice. So
I mean,
I think there's a friction in this locker room. It's been talked about before after the Calgary playoffs, and I think it's going to explode this season.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, you have Paul Maurice, who has openly defended players, and he's very vocal about being for his players and making sure they're doing what is right. And the whole Lonnie getting traded out and all the rumors about some of the Jets players, and then you see like comments like this. I'm not sure if Paul Maurice is the issue here. I think maybe there's an issue with guys like Scheifele and their character. Because if you're complaining about your coach who pulled you and sat you on the bench because you weren't skating hard, I'm sorry, bud. That's on you. Fucking pick up the pace, bud.
But it's harder to change your core than it is to fire a coach. I mean, look at Calgary, right? When Bob Hartley benched Gaudreau and Monahan, they didn't trade Monahan and Gaudreau, they fired Hartley.
Yeah, and how has the Flames done since?
And how's Hartley done since?
Yeah, exactly.
KHL champ.
He's a champion.
Champ in KHL.